Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Race Spec this evening. It's round 7, the Japanese Grand Prix for the PC Pacific Series. Fantastic to have you all here tonight. We're very excited to see what the 20 drivers or so have in store for us. We've seen a great race last weekend in Singapore. It was all decided on the last lap. I believe it was Ecamm running out of fuel, eventually finishing P3 from a commanding lead of the race there. But yeah, very, very exciting stuff. And I hope we have another very, very exciting race tonight in Suzuka. Can't wait. Many historic corner here. The S's, 130R, Dunlop, Degner 1, Degner 2. And what else? Spoon curb, the chicane. Basically, the whole track is just so iconic for not only its corners, but for being the only figure of 8 Formula 1 track on the calendar also. So I'm excited. I'm sure my co-commentator tonight is excited as well. That is GuardianRGR. So let's jump on into the commentary booth and welcome our fellow co-commentator for the evening. It is the one and only, the fantastic, the New Zealander, GuardianRGR.
Hey mate, thanks for having me here again for another spectacular race. And yes, as you said, we're at Suzuka and the only figure of 8 track on the calendar. This is going to be a fantastic race, mate. Who are you picking for this one?
I'm going to go with average only to get his first win of the season. He's been many a time the bridesmaid, but I'm going to go with him tonight to get his first victory. So, going to be awesome. Megatron's here. Welcome to you, mate. Thanks for joining us in the stream. And also, welcome to GuardianRGR, of course, in the chat there as well. Cards just came to the com box to say for us, have a good stream and that he loves our work. Fantastic to hear. Thank you very much, Cards. Pleasure to have you up in the commentary box. Feel free to jump in anytime. And we've also got Bagel for Life here as well. Go the Haster plan. It's going to be a wicked night of racing. I'm super excited. I cannot wait. And the first car out on track tonight is in fact a Haas, and it is Merlin. So I'll get the gaps on, detail, that's fine, telemetry on, lap data on, and the track map is full. Guardian, who would your money be on tonight? It's very close at the top of the table. Data and average only fighting it out. And Clunky Boy not far away either, it must be said, in the Red Bull. 3 full-time drivers occupying the top 3 spots in the championship race at the moment.
Yes, well, I think it's going to be. I think at this point it's going to be too hard to call. So we'll see what they get on these bank lap runs. But I'm looking forward to a very tight, very entertaining race tonight.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, we talk about tight and entertaining. Mate, how was Singapore last week? Have you recovered from that? That was a thriller minute. Oh. Just as we thought it might have just been a little bit of a bland affair and it was sizzling out. Car started running out of fuel on the last lap.
Yeah, it was definitely a spectacular end to the race. Definitely some fireworks going off in some garages and a few disappointed faces in others, I dare say.
Absolutely, indeed. Also, welcome on in to Aussie, who says the best comms on Earth. Megatron, a Guardian fan. Comms are insanely amazing. This is going to be fun. Thank you for the support, guys. And Guardian looks like he's got himself a few admirers.
Yes, well, I have been putting Race Spec Esports out there to my peeps to come in and join in and watch these amazing races. We're definitely going to have some fantastic ones, and right now I can tell you that the struggle demons from Sunday night's Elite Series are definitely here on some of these bank laps. Indeed,
yes, there was quite a number of spins and mishaps, including a couple of my own on Sunday. It was somewhat of a crazy race. It was split strategies, and there was a bunch of cars on one strategy, a bunch of cars on another, and they all met in the middle right at the end, and it was a crazy battle for basically P2 down to P10. It was quite something, so we'll see what we get tonight. But here's Merlin. It looks like he's going to set the first time in anger tonight as he comes down the back straight and going over the track through 130R. before slowing it all down from 300 kilometers per hour down to just about 90 kph into the chicane. Looked pretty tidy, although he did avoid the left-hand part of that chicane's curb. But across the line, Merlin goes faster, sets the first time of the day. A 1:31.1 is the yardstick for the other 17 drivers.
Yes, well, I dare say that that we might be on for a very good qualifying battle as well, as average only coming through, I believe, Spoon now and looking very, very tidy.
Yes, just on the exit of Spoon, he too is now powering his way down the back straight before flicking the car to the left through 130R. Hugging the left-hand side of the track there, trying to shorten the distance travelled around the track. Lovely through the chicane. Good use of the curbs. Crush goes P1 with a 29.2. Average only crosses the line and answers. Also a 129.2, but 0.03 of a second faster.
Yes, and things just going from bad to worse for Cars. He had a big spin on his first lap, and that's just had insult to injury, added with a 5-place grid penalty for a collision with Apex.
And Apex has retired from the session, so the cards have come out of the wrong hand there. A 5-place grid penalty and a driver out of qualifying. Not good news there for the Red Bull driver. Here's Sushi Trash, the rather aptly named Sushi Trash, may I just add. But certainly, if there's a land where sushi is trash, it's not Japan. But Sushi Trash is indeed Sushi Trash. That is one of the worst commentary lines I think I've ever said. Not sure where I'm going with that one, but anyway, it's sushi in Japan. You get the idea. Crosses the line, 38.4.
Yes, and probably had an issue on that lap because Cars has a similar time and he did have a spin. And Clunky Boy, meanwhile, is on a very fast lap as he heads down to... Oh, and...
Sneaky, sorry, Guardian, 2 seconds, Guardian. Sneaky just getting on the outside curb through Degner 2, putting the throttle on in the rear, had nothing for him, and he tries to get going. This is rather embarrassing for Sneaky. He's binned it a second time. He's now completely lost his front wing, and hopefully he can navigate his way back to the pits. Nope, he's spinning again. That's 3 strikes. And let's just go on board and see if he can get it back to the pits. Sorry, Guardian, please do continue. Yes. Sneaky, sorry, Guardian. 2 seconds, Guardian. He's got to be careful here because this could all end up in tears with penalties, disqualification, or he could even put himself out of the session, but it looks like he's got very hot rear tyres. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, it definitely looked like he's having a bit of trouble getting that car going, but meanwhile, Punky Boy put a 130.2 in the meanwhile, and that is good enough for P5.
He may be even going faster here. Keep an eye on his split times as he comes into the hairpin, really attacking it with a bit of venom. Looked very neat and tidy as well, gets the power down. Coming through the long sweeping right-hander on the lead up to Spoon. Places his car to the right of the track and he is out of fuel. So a 30.2 for Clunky Boy, P5. Sits behind Data, Ecam, Crush, and it's average only currently sitting on the pole. We've got Aussie in the Ferrari, rounding the final corner, and he goes to P10 with a 37.1. I'm getting dizzy.
Yeah. looks like Cars there having another issue. He's in a world of pain right now. And looks like Higgs is about to get his lap going. He had a bit of trouble with the chicane. Car came to a complete stop. Not sure what's going on there, but he's away now.
Take us through the lap, Guardian.
Suzuka is actually one of those tracks where I don't have a lot of knowledge about the turns, but I can tell you as Higgs comes down to turn 1 and 2, he's a little offline, and he's definitely going to pay the price. I think he's actually bailed out of the lap. And yes, he has. He bailed out of the lap, so something has not worked for him there. If he's in the gravel heading up the S's.
Just had a little bit of a spin. Looks like Aussie is continuing. It's saying his delta is 4 seconds to the good, so he's looking to improve, but 4 seconds won't be enough to lift him out of P10. But let's see what he's got through Sector 3. It's now 6.2 seconds. Coming into the chicane, heavy braking. Looking for the first apex all over the curb. That was very nice. And indeed through the second part of the chicane as well. Trying to minimise wheel spin and oversteer in the final corner, but he couldn't do that. But he does cross the line and he gains a couple of spots. So 30.5 takes Aussie to P7. Heggs has been disqualified from the session.
Yes, and very unfortunate for Higgs. That will mean that he will start from last. And Data now about to start his flying lap. So
he's just done a 29.697, so remains P4. Talk us through this one.
Well, we'll try and not give the commentators curses. Data comes up through the S's, and he's very smooth. The car's very online, but Data always looks to have that car very, very settled. He's got very good racecraft. Actually.
Oh, and right on cue, the commentator's curse strikes, and Dada spins around. And
yeah,
also the full guy going backwards. My word. Talk about spinning our world around tonight, Suzuka.
Yes, definitely. I think at this point everybody needs to, jump into the pits and lower their tyre pressure. Looking at this, because I think everybody is suffering here.
Quite extraordinary what we are seeing here at the moment. Sushi Trash, is he on a lap? Wow, they're looking aggressive through Degna 1, Degna 2. Multiple lines through the next corner. This is the hairpin. You can either take that really low, close to the curb, or there's a bit of camber there, so you can use the wide line, the high side of the hairpin. Looked very neat and tidy. Past an Australian flag in the crowd. We love to see those. Coming up to Spoon. Very famous corner. Fast entry speed, but get it all slowed down for the second phase of Spoon. Use all the curb on the exit. Sushi Trash does a very good job of that. Blasting down the back straightaway now towards 130R. Flat. Do not lift. Uses a bit of curb there for maybe a little bit of extra rotation. Looked very deep on the brakes, misses the apex slightly, gathers it up through the second part of that corner, and minimises the oversteer through the final corner, crosses the line with a 30.7, and that takes Sushi Trash into the top 10.
Yes, and a very decent lap there from Sushi Trash, and now hopefully we can get a flying lap with Crush. He's looked very clean through 1 and 2, coming up through the S's now. And he has that car very nicely online. And you know what? He's managed to get through the S's without spinning.
That change of direction there through the second phase of the S's was something to watch, wasn't it? That was sublime.
It was. It is probably my favourite part of Suzuka, to be honest. Those S's, when you get it right, you get it really right. He comes up to the hairpin, slows it right down now, takes the low line, and slingshots out of the turn. He's looking very on form as he heads on the run down towards Spoon. Now, can he keep it neat and tidy down here? Using all of the curb, and he kept it very neat and tidy. And this is actually looking like a really good lap for him.
Just waiting to see his delta. He is up.
Through 130R. Hugs the inside now. Now, how much curb can he use?
Just about all of it. Look at that.
Oh, that was a very, very...
And
very,
bails
very
out
nice
of it.
lap.
He's bailed out of it. He was on for pole position there, Crush. And what's the old saying, Guardian? If it's going to be milk, make sure it's Mashashino.
No. Yeah. If it's going to be milk, it's got to be Masasano.
Masasano. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. When you said if you get it right, you really get it right, all I could think about was the Masasano, but obviously horribly mispronounced. Some might say butchered. Moving on. So average only still sits on the pole at 29.2. There's 4.5 seconds to go, or 4.5 minutes rather. I'm having a mare. There's 4.5 minutes to go in the session. Ecam just takes the pole now with a 29.1, so only narrowly ahead of average only. Who is currently in the pits. Crush was set to take the pole, but he's bailed out of it. He'll surely come out and have another crack. Don't ride out sneaky as well. I've seen this guy race, and he's got some pace. He's just got to hook a lap up, put it together. This is not going to be it, because he's currently a minute 43 approaching the chicane, but keep an eye out for him. Could be a little bit of a dark horse, but he's invalidating coming back into the pits. We've got Aussie out there. He's on a 3-minute lap, so he won't be setting the timetables alight on this round. And Max Height doing a very solid job for Aston Martin, who are leading in the constructors over McLaren. He's about to let loose around the track, I hope. Here he goes. Welcome on in to Adral99 in the chat as well. Thank you for joining us as we go on board now with Max Height through Suzuka. Turn 1 and 2, important to find a momentum, curry as much mid-apex speed there as you can. Try and get the power down as early as possible out of 2, approaching the S's. It's a left, right. Catch your breath before another left-hander. Plenty of load on the drivers and on the cars through there. Then almost a double apex right-hander. He hugs the curb all the way around, and then the uphill climb through Dunlop. Trying to keep the car all the way to the left if possible. Spot your marks through Degner. Using the curb on the inside and outside. A little bit on the inside through Degner too. Careful on the exit. You don't want to line up the rear tyres. Then a fast approach into the hairpin. Crank the steering in. Not a hint of lockups there from Max Height. That was beautifully done. And then past the fans. Through the right-hander. Approaching Spoon. Very high speed entry into this corner. Try and keep it all together. Minimise your understeer there. And Max Height looks like he is on a beautiful lap. Short shifting there on the exit of Spoon. Once again, trying to minimise distance covered on the track. What's his sector time going to be? He's up by just under 2/10 through 130R. And he can definitely find time into the chicane, braking as late as he dares. And it was super late. Hits the apex. Not once, but twice. Gets the power down. It's a very tiny lap. Max Height crosses the line. P7, he found 3.5 tenths at 30.2. What a lap.
Yeah, it's a very, very good lap there from Max Height, and time ticking down now, so drivers are going to be looking to peel out onto the track and get those laps in, because there's not a lot of time left, as looks like Cards is starting a flying lap now as well.
Cards down in P15, he needs something. We'll keep an eye on the top as well. Ecam is in the pits. He doesn't look like he's going to come out and set another time. So it's going to be between average only Crush, Shui, Data to fight over that pole position. Currently held by Ecam. And here's Cards going around once again. He will not improve.
I know it's Japan, and Japan is the home of drifting, but
this isn't Tokyo.
Yeah, this is not Tokyo. And who is that going through the gravel crap?
Crash is going slowly. Huey's going slowly. I think they're all still on outlaps, but he goes average only. That he's flying into turn 1. Let's keep an eye on him. Looking very nice, using all the track available to him now through the S's. What's the car looking like? It's looking pretty good through there. Here's the change of direction at the top of the hill. Looking pretty nice. Doesn't look to be as aggressive as what we saw with Ecam or Crush, was it, earlier on. And up through Dunlop he goes. Let's have a look at the split as he comes into Degner 1. He's down, but only just 0.02 of a second. Approaching the hairpin. All the way out there on the painted white lines. Really using every millimetre of this track to try and maximise his lap time here, average only. Cards has retired from the session, blinking yellow flags at every corner just about. As we welcome on in Chisel to the chat. Welcome on in, sir. Good to see you. We are working like a well-oiled machine, Guardian and I, up here in the commentary box tonight.
Yes, we absolutely are. Crush, meanwhile, is on a flyer of a lap, looking to see what the delta is at Sector 1, and he's up 2/10.
Crush up 2/10. Wow. Average Only's up a tenth and a bit. Has he spun? He has. So Crush is gone. He's not going to get the pole. Average Only's going to continue on here. He is improving his lap time. I think he's going to do it through the final corner. Average Only currently holds the pole. 29 flat. Is there going to be anyone challenging? It could be Huey, and Huey's backed out. Well done. Average Only. What do I say, Guardian? Far from average. He's nailed the pole tonight. Brilliant from the Aston Martin driver.
Yes, he's done a really good job plunking either way in P8, but up by 1/10 on his lap, entering sector 3, just going around Spoon now, as he heads on the run toward 130R. Now, how much can he improve?
He's on a nice lap here, the old clunky boy. One of Guardian's favourites, being a Kiwi as well. Here he comes into the chicane. Clattering the curbs. Look pretty nice for Clunky Boy. Is he going to improve? Perhaps pull himself into the top 5? Nearly. He goes 7th. Not a bad run from Clunky Boy. He sits 3rd in the championship. Data sits 2nd. But there's daylight between P2 and P1 in the championship as Average Only claims the pole. Data can only manage P6. Ecam joins Average Only on the front row. Crush relegated to P3. Huey P4. Sneaky got himself up to P5. I was saying that we should keep an eye out for him earlier. He did a great job there, sneaking up to P5 in the session. Data, Clunky Boy, Aussie in the Ferrari. Max Height, the Fool Guy, rounding out the top 10. The Fool Guy, my driver of the day last week. He was phenomenal and puts in a strong qualifying there. And gets P10. Really, really nice job there. Alex, welcome to the chat, mate. Very nice to see you as well, mate. Always a pleasure to have you on board with us in the stream. And if you're not part of Race Spec and you are tuning in maybe for the first time tonight listening to us, please do follow the channel. We'd greatly appreciate that and get yourself involved in Race Spec in the future. There's plenty of leagues to go around. 3 different regions, Pacific, Euro, and Americas. And
yes,
there's plenty of racing to be had, so make sure you get a part of it. Are you Race Spec? Below the top 10, we've got the Magic Man, Merlin, Alex himself, who we haven't actually called tonight. We'll need to make sure we give him a bit of screen time in the race. Sushi Trash, P13, Albino, Josh, P14, and then Cards, Apex, I Love Controller, and Hegs rounding out the grid tonight. And Alex, are you confirming that the race is going to be a wet one? This could be interesting.
Well, that will definitely make for an interesting race, and yes, well done to Average Only for securing that pole, and Data in P6 is going to have a lot of work to do tonight.
It is absolutely chucking it down here in Japan tonight. It's going to be wet. Is it going to be extreme wets or intermediates? We'll wait to find out, but I'll tell you what. This could be something pretty special tonight. I'd really like to see this go into a dry race perhaps towards the end. Maybe even go dry in the middle, wet again at the end. But, mate, this is going to be awesome. They say the cream rises to the top in this sort of weather. Average Only leads the championship, but only by 3 points. He's certainly been the most consistent driver throughout this championship, and he is going to be tested tonight from the pole. Guardian, your thoughts?
Yes, well, he absolutely is, but I think everybody is going to be tested in this weather. I would say that we're going to be on intermediate tyres. I don't think it's full wet conditions yet.
I think they're on full wets.
You know what? I think you're right. It does look like full wets. It is full wets. So, as they say, rain, the great equalizer, and this is really going to test their skills.
100%. I'm just going to leave it with you for a moment. I just very quickly need to step out of the commentary box. They don't call me Mr. P for no reason.
Yes, I think Mr. P's had to step outside to move the helicopter. But yes, this is going to be a very interesting race, folks. We've got the front row of Average Only and Ecam. Row 2's got Crush and Huey on it. Row 3 is Sneaky and Data. Going down to row 4, we have Clunky and Aussie with a Y. Row 5, Max Height and the Fall Guy. Row 6, we have Merlin and Alex. Row 7 is Sushi Trash and Albino Josh. Row 8 is Apex and I Love Controller. And row 9 is Hegs and Cards. Cards unfortunately receiving that 5-place grid penalty in qualifying for the crash with Apex. and they're doing a fair paced formation lap. So all of them trying to get as much heat into these wet weather tyres as possible.
Oh dear, another spinner on a formation lap. I'm back, sir.
Welcome back, Ben. Yes, Ecamm has spun on the formation lap. I can confirm that, and that just showing the conditions on the track right now. So
it's quite treacherous.
Yes, it's going to be an interesting start. This is going to be about being smooth at the start.
Thank you, Guardian. Well, here we go then. So round 7 for the PC Pacific Series is about to take place. It's wet in Japan, as it so often is. The weather can be unpredictable. We certainly know that these races in Race Spec can be unpredictable. We have been treated to some phenomenal rounds so far this year. The wet tyre is expected to last between 13 to 18 laps if you're going to do a one-stopper. Will anyone chance their arm perhaps and try for the zero-stopper though, as you do not need to change tyres in a wet Grand Prix. But here we go then, just waiting for the rear of the grid to form up. Hegs and Cards making their way to the grid. It's average only on the pole position. Crush gets to the grid now for P3. That's probably going to be the best view we're going to be able to get of the start from the back of the grandstands. But here we go. We're set for a start in Suzuka. Round 7, Race Spec PC Pacific Series. Stand by. Ichi, ni, san, shi, go! And we are go, slipping and sliding in Suzuka. It looks like Crush gets the best start out of the lot. Ecamm also challenging Average Only here for the lead, but Average Only is going to get the turn 1 in the lead, is he? No, he's not. Ecamm down the inside, brilliant move, makes contact. Average Only forced up on the curb. Sneaky has barreled his way through to P3, and after just 3 corners, safety car.
Yes, I can confirm that safety car is because Merlin was crashed out at the start of the race. Not quite sure what happened there. Maybe got a little too much power down, but very unfortunately, he is out of the race for turn 1.
And it is VSC conditions. Ecamm has snared the lead at the Grand Prix. Average Only fought hard. He maintains P2. Sneaky comes from P5, I believe, to make the final spot on the podium, P3. Crush has gone down to P4. Data's gained to P5. Huey P6. Clunky Boy 7th. The Full Guy's gained a spot as well. Alex up to P11 in the McLaren. Cards has gained spots there as well off the start. Looks like Sushi Trash has potentially been the driver in a tangle with Merlin, but we'll wait for the VSC to end. So Ecamm in control of the field currently, and we are racing again. So let's jump on board here with Average Only through the restart. He's all over the gearbox of Ecamm. Now in the wet 130R, it sort of becomes a little bit of a corner, but Ecamm has absolutely streaked away. It looks like Average Only might be running a little bit higher downforce in comparison to those around him at the moment. Let's see if he can find some time into the chicane. He does. I think there's definitely a lot more downforce on the car for Average Only than there is on Ecamm. But Ecamm's going to be very quick in a straight line. So this is going to be a really fascinating battle. And let's have a look behind as well. It's pretty tight between Crush, Data, trying to make his way through the field here and gain some championship points. And there's a battle here. A Mercedes going wide. That's Huey and Sneaky. Sneaky gets to the inside of turn 2. Leaves enough space. Is Huey going to send it up the inside into the S's? No. He backs out of it. Concedes the position of Sneaky, but a nice little battle there between those two. Clunky Boy up to P7. Aussie, the Full Guy, max height. And here's Alex on the back of the train. He battled bravely on Sunday in the Elite Series, and Huey's gone around. He's stuck on the inside there of turn 7. And hopefully he gets that going. Guardian will keep an eye on that one for us.
Yes, absolutely. And I can confirm he lost control of the car all by himself. It happened right in front of Clunky. Clunky doing a very good job to avoid it, actually. Had almost no warning.
Here goes Albino, Josh, and Apex into the hairpin. Apex bravely trying to fight around the outside, but he turns into Albino Josh. Hopefully gets away with no damage there. They both carry on wheel to wheel. The advantage will now be to Apex through this corner, as he just has the inside, and Albino Josh looks like he got out of that one. And yellow flags are out ahead of us here. There's an Alpine off the track.
And meanwhile, I can confirm that Huey has got going, but he did have a little bit of an issue through Degner too, and spun the car again, but he is moving.
Cards is off the track there as well, had a little bit of a moment, and Cards has gone around yet again, so Cards really struggling down there, and he has retired, and that is going to bring out a safety car, and Ecamm has been penalised for a collision with Max Height. Ecamm looks like he's in all sorts of trouble here. It's not a full course safety car. It is a VSC. Looks like there might have been some interesting deltas there. What a chaotic start we've had here in Japan tonight. And this is really interesting with strategy. Now Guardian has the rain maybe eased, so the car's coming in for intermediates.
Well, I can confirm everybody going through the pits is now going on to the end of the Ecamm serving his penalty right now. And that's very smart to do it under the VSC. He's going to lose a lot less time, and he is releasing from the pits now. So I can confirm that Aussie with the Y, Sneaky, Ecamm, and Huey, you dig, all going on to intermediate tyres.
Fascinating, because the rain is still absolutely pelting down, but perhaps those extreme wet intermediate tyres just shifting enough water for these drivers to get intermediates on and perhaps have a bit of grip. It's going to be fascinating to see if this pays off. There is a little bit of light on the northern end of the track there, but is it going to be... Well, is there going to be enough standing water cleared for these intermediates to work there as we go green once again? Data just 8/10ths behind average only. Didn't look like he had a great launch, but Guardian definitely keep us posted on those intermediate runners and their times in comparison here. Crushes a further second back in P3, and then Clunky Boy 2 seconds adrift of the podium. But it's average only and Data, the two championship protagonists, who are set to do battle here in Suzuka through lap 3 of the Grand Prix. Fantastic. Through 130R they go. Data's just closing in now. We know average only running higher downforce in this race, so he should be really strong through Sector 1, maybe the first half of Sector 2, but the back half of Sector 2 and Sector 3 should belong to Data. So this is going to be really interesting. You'd think if average only gets past here and loses DRS, he could be in a bit of trouble, so he needs to defend for his life. Here they go, into turn 1. Data swarming all over the gearbox of the Aston Martin, trying to make his presence felt, make average only know he's there, maybe duck and dart, try and force average only into a mistake. We've seen these two come together. They're no strangers to the company of each other, but you can really see here, Guardian, average only putting a gap through the S's. That extra downforce really paying dividends for him right now, but Data doing well to keep him within arm's length.
Yes, and with no DRS, this is going to come down to absolute driver skill. And an update on the intermediate tyres as well. The intermediate tyres are actually working better than the wet tyres at the moment. So Aussie in the Ferrari, he's closed that gap to head from 10.5 seconds. Bear in mind this is inside a lap and a half. Oh. He's closed that gap down to 7.7 seconds.
Very interesting. Thank you. That's critical analysis there from Guardian. So the intermediate tyres are working. And look at the Fall Guy wrestling his AlphaTauri through the right-hander. Yellow flags are out. There's a Haas of Albino Josh. That's both Haas cars now out of the Grand Prix. Data is barreling into 130R here in search of average only. Boy, oh boy, he's close here. Is he going to get a look into the chicane? Not quite. Average only holds on. But there's another straight. Data's got the straight line speed. He's going to come into the pits. That'll be for intermediate tyres. The Fall Guy and Apex having a colossal fight here. Switchback galore. I thought there might have been an AlphaTauri in the pits. There isn't. They both continue. Let's stay with this one. Apex, the Fall Guy, Max Height trying to get into the battle as well. It's Apex to the inside. Hits the Apex. Is he going to get his car down? He is. The Fall Guy ran wide. Max Height now capitalizing, opportunistic. He's up to P3. The Fall Guy loses out, back to P4. Sushi Trash up to P5. Sensational stuff here. Data's come out, and he is P7 on the intermediates.
Yes, Data did duck into the pits under all that. It looks like we got yellow flags, something in sector 1. But yes, Data has gone on to the Inter, so we'll see how Average Only responds here. Is he going to stay on the wets or is he going to dive in? But I tell you what, these conditions are drying up, and the intermediate tyre right now is looking very, very good in the groove.
Indeed, I think, what are you expecting here in the pit lane? Maybe 25 seconds? At this stage, Average Only may not even survive in the top 10 if he pits this lap. He is definitely bleeding time. Moments ago, Data was 22 seconds behind. That gap now 20 seconds. So intermediate tyres are considerably faster at this point in the Grand Prix. So I'd expect to see the leader, Average Only, in this lap. Probably nursing his car here into the chicane, I'd say.
Yes,
sorry, Guardian, go ahead.
Yes, I think we're going to see all the wet runners come in this lap. These intermediates are substantially faster. We're talking about 4 seconds a lap faster.
Jeez.
And you know what? It's 27.6 seconds based on a 2.5 second stop through the pits here. So I would say that Average Only is probably going to lose out here.
Yes, I think Data may have this one. Average Only just coming out of his pit box now. And I think Data's comfortably going to assume the lead of this Grand Prix here. There we go. Average Only just at the pit exit. Data has done it. The Mercedes of Heggs is ghosting, but he's also got through. So Average Only now is P3. And the hunted becomes the hunter now. Drifting on through Heggs and taking P2 now.
Yes, and meanwhile, Clunky Boy actually the fastest of everybody on the track right now on the Inters. His setup working really, really well, and he is all over the gearbox of Sneaky and putting immense amounts of pressure.
Look at this
on him.
Oh, he's had a snap. Oh, I thought he was going to shape up a move there, perhaps in the Degner 1, but he just has a little snap of oversteer. That is going to delay his move, but he's gathered himself really well. Looks like he's getting some supreme traction. Crush in P5. Looks to be struggling a bit. Clunky Boy, is he going to send it down the inside of the hairpin? Not this lap. And for now remains in P7. But a big train forming here. Sneaky, Crush. Aussie within reach as well. He's not too far away. And Heggs in P3. Interesting little gaggle of cars here. We'll keep our eyes on it. Sneaky trying to find a way through Crush here into Spoon. Great little battle.
Crush's car, unfortunately, looks really, really unstable. We've got yellows in sector 2. I suspect someone's gone round. Mercedes
back there of Huey. But here we go. All eyes on this battle right now. Crush in P5 being chased by Sneaky and Clunky Boy through 130R. Sneaky did not yield one bit there. Kept his foot pinned to the floor. Brave in the wet, trusting the downforce and front grip of his car. Brilliant stuff. Data goes fastest with a 42.7. Extends his lead to 2.2 seconds. But Crush came under immense pressure there, held on into the chicane, and that's forced Sneaky back into the clutches of Clunky Boy. But this track's proving to be a tricky one to pass at in the wet. Clunky Boy runs wide there as well, so he's going to lose a bit of time on the exit of turn 2.
Yes, it's a very interesting situation right now, and Higgs up in P4, still on the wet tyre. He's going to be struggling for sure.
Aussie is also struggling, just seeing that Ferrari. He's gained a position into P3, but he is not pulling away, that's for sure. 4 seconds off the back of Average Only. This battle's getting very saucy. Let's see what Clunky Boy can do this time. I really want to see someone do the Kamui Kobayashi late on the brakes move into the hairpin here. Here we go. Clunky Boy's going to go for it. Oh, he backed out. Had to check himself, gather the car. Stayed composed, keeps his car in it, but look at these cars wobbling, slipping and sliding. This is good to watch. Clunky Boy trying to find his way around the end, outside of the right-hander. Sneaky sort of shut the door, but there was enough room there, and contact was made there. Sneaky and Crush, and then Clunky Boy. Oh, it's all gone wrong. They're rubbing. Oh, they got, jeez. How have they got through that without damage?
I don't know. I mean, I know they say rubbing is racing, but boys, this is not NASCAR.
Wowzers. Went for a little bit of a side draft, didn't pull it off, but that's hurt both cars. A little bit of a mess there in Spoon.
And
everyone. I was just gonna say, Guardian. Sorry, everyone wanted to be the little Spoon in that occasion.
Oh, I like that. But yes, Data is absolutely peeling away in the wet, so he's got that car really sorted for this race.
He's gone off the track. He's just gone off the track. Sneaky's got down the inside. The action's happening thick and fast here. Data tries to keep his nose in it, but very wise to back out of that and just maintain his P6. That's Alex, pardon me. Thank you. Good driving there from the McLaren driver. Alex. Data, of course, in the lead of the race. My apologies. Yellow flags now through Dunlop. Not sure who that was for. Aussie doing a good job here, maintaining his P4, but Sneaky gets into the back of him. Sneaky's making a lot of contact with a lot of cars at the moment. He's being very, very aggressive in these wet conditions. And look at Alex! He's flying down the inside into the hairpin. Sneaky tries to turn that into a move around the outside of Aussie. Ends up battling wheel to wheel with Alex. You just can't pick it at the moment. Everybody's just going ballistic.
Oh, absolutely. And I can tell you that hairpin right there was 2x2, 3 rows back.
Alex has gone wide. Now he finds himself squabbling with Ecamm. Despite the conditions being very wet, the drivers are certainly not backing off. Everyone is going hell for leather this afternoon in Suzuka. But Alex has lost out a couple of spots there. Finds himself now down in P7 chasing Ecamm. But did have a good run through 130R. But unable to make a move under brakes into the chicane. But I'll tell you who did make a move into the chicane there was the Alpha Tauri of Apex and the Red Bull of Clunky Boy. Now they're rubbing through the final corner. It looks like they've locked tyres. Amazingly, they both continue at over 250 kilometers an hour. How are they going to sort this one out? Into turn one, Clunky Boy gets the move done. That is something special.
Yeah, it definitely is. It looked like the interlock wheels coming out of that final chicane when Clunky went into the opportunistic move, and it was a very, very good opportunistic move. And I tell you what, the track is drying, the rain has stopped, and we might see some dry tyres.
Indeed, I think we are going to get to dry tyres in a couple of laps' time. You can just sort of see a little bit of a dark grey line forming on the track, and before we know it, once the rain does stop completely, that's going to turn into a dry line. Sneaky finds himself up to P4, Crush P3. Average only has stabilised the gap with the lead somewhat. He's 2.5 seconds adrift of Data. Ecamm, who was robbed of victory last week thanks to fuel, he's down in P6, but he's fighting on as well. Guardian, is there anyone that does have damage after those squabbles in the last 2 laps that you can see?
Actually, surprisingly, I can't see anybody with damage at the moment. Very, very surprisingly, there was a lot of contact. There was you'd think it was something out of Dodgem cars or NASCAR road course. It was very, very scary actually.
It was quite tremendous, and just as we speak there, Data really throws down the hammer as a 41.0, and he has now built a 3.5 second gap to average only. And he is in the zone right now, the McLaren man. Absolutely flying.
Yes, I think average only was starting to just pick away at that gap, and then Data went, okay, you want a response? Well, here's the response, and he sets another fastest lap.
Yes, an incredible response. So it's now average only's turn to show what he's made of. Fighting for a championship. He hasn't won a race this season, but he's had 4 or 5 P2 finishes. Data, who has won, has been a little bit more inconsistent. But yeah, it's a very close battle at top of the table between those two as Ecamm has a bit of a moment, loses the rear. Apex gets into the back of him. He's lost his left side end plate then, so the Alpha Tauri, a little bit of an innocent bystander, gets tangled up and he's lost it under braking. He's into the barrier. Is that going to bring out the safety car? Ecamm's able to continue on. Clunky Boy avoided trouble along with Alex, max height. The full guy's gone through. Apex has got going, so that will keep the safety car in the pit lane. But that was an incredible moment in the race for Apex. He's going to need a pit stop, a new front wing, and that's going to cost him dearly.
And then just to add insult to injury, he's got a 3-second time penalty for curb hopping that as well.
Not sure really what happened there, but it looked like he really misjudged his braking zone, perhaps misread the amount of downforce that he'd lost there into Degner 2. And he's very, very fortunate to have not taken Ecamm out of the race with him, because that was quite a dangerous moment. And Ecamm, obviously, unsuspecting of a car flying down into the rear wing like that, looks like he's escaped trouble. So thankfully for him, he continues on P7. A shame for Apex, because he was showing a rather good turn of foot and some good pace.
Yes, but I can confirm that Ecamm does have some rear wing damage, so that is going to hurt him.
Oh, he
and
does?
He'll be seething right now.
Okay, it looks like his pace for now is okay. Just having a look at his rear wing there, it looks okay. I don't think there's too much damage there, if any.
Yeah, it's on the it's on the left-hand side. It's a little more noticeable coming through the S's. It's probably
Might get a look in the hairpin. Here it is.
Yeah.
Looks to be okay to me. Certainly doesn't seem to be affecting his pace. He's still within 7/10 of Clunky Boy.
Yeah, he's definitely holding that pace well, but it's yeah, definitely not what he wanted. I imagine that I imagine that was a bit of a shock for him.
I think so. Yeah, got a bit of a shunt there into the second Degner. With the field rather well spaced out at the moment. It's Data in front. He leads average only. A gap of 3 seconds. And then a further 8.8 seconds back to Crush, occupying P3. Sneaky's found his way up to P4 as Data goes fastest lap once again, this time 40.7. Aussie in the top 5, having a rather strong race. He'll be thrilled with that in the Ferrari. Clunky Boy, P6, being chased by Ecamm, P7. Alex, a strong performance as well in the second McLaren, P8. Max Height in the top 10. Another consistent drive so far for him, approaching half distance in P9. Rounding out the top 10 is the AlphaTauri of the Full Guy in a rather striking blue and purple helmet. And then we have Sushi Trash, Hegs, I Love Controller, Huey, and Apex, who has been stricken to P15. But a safety car, who knows, he could be right back in it.
Well, yes, I mean, you know, safety car will neutralise the race, but that grey line becoming ever more prominent on the track. So I think we might end up with a last-minute sprint on dry tyres.
It's currently on lap 12 of 27. Perhaps maybe by the time we get to lap 18 or so, this track could be dry. There's definitely some gaps appearing in the clouds there that we see through Degner 1 and 2. So perhaps over Spoon, that could be the first part of the track to go dry. As Clunky Boy is preparing a move on Aussie, stalking his prey. This is in the form of a scarlet red Ferrari with a tinge of yellow. It looks like Clunky Boy could be running a little bit higher downforce. It's interesting that we see this Guardian. A couple of cars obviously really lacking in straight line speed, but obviously not lacking in downforce. And they make up a lot of time in the corners, but they lose a lot of time in the straights. It's a fascinating battle between various setups here.
Yes, absolutely it is. I mean, setups, of course, super important as our data showing us why with a 140.6. But yeah, it's very interesting the different characteristics that drivers prefer in their setup, and I think a few of them preferring just the higher downforce setup. And you know what? If this track goes dry, those guys, they'll be able to attack really, really well up through these turns, and we could see a few out.
Oh, big moment! 2 seconds, Guardian. Ecamm is out of the race. He went to switch sides from the outside to the inside of the track, and I think he's misjudged it. He's hit the back of Clunky Boy, found himself in the barrier with 3 wheels remaining. The full course safety car is out. Massive moment in the Grand Prix. Clunky Boy lives on to tell the tale. How did you see that one? Was it a late move from Clunky Boy or a late move from Ecamm?
Honestly, I think I don't want to put blame on anybody for that, but I think Ecamm did just misjudge it, because it looked like he bumped off the rear wheel of Clunky, and it sent him sliding into that barrier. And once you're in the grass here, it's over.
Yes.
And we saw a prime example, but I tell you what, who the biggest winner out of all of this could be is probably actually Hex, because he would have the free stop back to Apex.
Indeed, yes, that was an incredible moment. I tend to agree with you there with what we saw. I don't think there was any weaving or movement from Clunky Boy. He was in the middle of the track, sort of saying to Ecam, you pick your side, and it looks like the Alpine driver initially looked to the outside, hesitated, tried to find his way to the inside, and just misjudged it entirely. His front wing did not clear the rear wheels of Clunky Boy's vehicle, and yes, that was all she wrote. That is an extraordinary accident at 300 kilometers an hour.
Sorry, I just wanted to interject here to say that Data average only, they have gone on to dry tyres. Data's on the medium, average only on the hards.
Holy
so
moly.
We're going to see dry racing.
Jeez, thank you, Guardian, for that. It's an extraordinary spot there that we have the 2 leaders of the Grand Prix switching to dry tyres. It's still raining. It's still rather wet out there. You can see that visually on the cars, droplets falling from the sky onto the track, but it's medium tyres here for Data, hard tyres for average only. Is there anyone else that's taken that risk?
Yes, Clunky's also jumped into the pits and got the medium tyre. Aussie and Alex have pitted for another set of inters. This is going to be very, very interesting. Sneaky's actually stayed out, and he now controls the field, or will control the field at the restart if he does not go in. And you know what? I don't think he will.
Don't take your eyes off this one, ladies and gentlemen. Halfway through the Grand Prix, and we have got mixed strategies. We've got changeable weather. It's fantastic stuff. But I tell you what, have they maybe got a weather report? Perhaps they're coming back with the forecast saying, you know what, this race is going to be dry in 5 or 10 minutes' time, and they're taking the preemptive guess under the safety car to put those dry tyres on and hope that it's timed right when the safety car goes back in. What do you think, Guardian? What would be your call?
Well, I would say, having been in this situation, that they're probably thinking, okay, we've got the safety car for 3 laps, we've got the free stop, and you know what, this track is getting pretty dry, and it might not be very good at the restart, but a couple of laps after, we might be on a winning strategy. And I tell you what, never underestimate Data's ability to be adaptive to the weather and know how and what tyres to use.
Indeed. We do see some tyre tracks starting to form, so it's definitely drying up. The idea here is if it is still a little bit slippery, a little bit greasy on the restart, that these 2 cars are able to hold on enough time so that when the other cars do pit for the dry tyres, they basically get the overcut. So the idea is that they can keep about 15 to 20 seconds up their sleeve. But you can see here, Honda safety car, the championship leader, average only, struggles for grip, finds himself off the track in the chicane, and he's dropped 2 positions. He's lost 1 to his teammate, Max Height, and another to the AlphaTauri of the Fall Guy, who we see again under the radar, just driving super consistently and yielding a good result. But I can't wait to see how this is going to play out on the restart, mate.
Yeah, I tell you what, I think dry tyres might be the go, because Sushi Trash has gone in for the overcut under safety car, and he's now on the medium tyres as well.
Jeez, I really don't know. If I was out there looking at this, I'd probably stick to the intermediates for now. It's the rain, I believe, has stopped, however, so I think it will go dry. And but that's the call. It's a very difficult one to make. Do you stay out on the inters and just wait a little bit, or do you take the risk now on the safety car and go on to the dries? Look, I think it's really a 50-50 call, but we'll see what works. We'll see what happens, and I'm glad I'm not out there at the moment. That's all I have to say.
Yes, well, I mean, I'm a gambling man, so I would have gone in for the dry tyres. But I tell you what, if they stay in the groove, just looking at it right now, it is really dry. Or I say really dry, but what I actually mean for everybody watching is it's dry enough. And if they stay in the groove, they'll be all right. Data showing us that right now under the safety car, staying completely in the groove. But you get out of that groove, and you're going to be in a bit of trouble. You're not really going to be able to overtake on these tyres just yet, but you know, if you have the straight line pace, maybe you can skip across the wet a bit and gain that position. But yeah, it's a gamble for sure, but it's one in these circumstances I would take, and we'll probably see the safety car in this lap or next.
Yes, I think it is going to be the next lap. Safety car lights are still on through 130R, so we'll be circulating around one more time, perhaps waiting for Huey just to catch the back of the grid. But through lap 15 of the Grand Prix, Sneaky has control on the intermediate tyre. He's going to stay out. Data is in P2, first of the runners on the dries. Then the full guy, max height, average only on a set of hard tyres. I'm surprised we haven't seen them on the soft tyre, because I think the soft tyre has plenty of grip, works quite well around Suzuka. But I guess the worry there is, can they make it last 10 or 9 laps?
Yes, well, that's just it. And Crush and I Love Control, they've both gone into the pits as well, and they're on mediums. Also, Huey, you dig, he's on mediums. So I think that the dry tyres might be the way to go. And I tell you what, I think we'll probably only get one more lap after the safety car of wet running, and Sneaky is actually having to cool the tyres under the safety car. He's had to go offline into the water to cool the tyres. So the intermediate runners, they might be in a bit of trouble here, actually.
Yes, indeed. I think as we circulate around the track and the rain definitely stops and blue sky appears, I think these intermediate runners, I think you're right, Guardian, I think they're going to suffer the consequences of staying on that tyre through the safety car, but we'll see what happens. Could there even be another twist in the tail and it rains again? Who knows?
Yeah, that'll make for a very interesting finish. And the fun fact of today is, remember that safety car, it actually clears more water off the track than a singular Formula 1 car at this pace. So, indeed.
Yes, unfortunately we don't have access to the weather reports or anything like that. We'll have to rely on the information of you good fellows in the chat who are potentially watching other drivers' streams. But I believe we're going to prepare to go racing once again here. And we'll resume on lap 17 of the Grand Prix. Huey has retired, so we are left now with only 13 runners. We've actually got 6 on dry tyres and 6 on intermediates. That doesn't work, there's 13 drivers left. Hang on. 7. We've got 7 on inters, 6 on dries. Safety cars in this lap. Here we go then. So, Sneaky is in control here, but he's on the inters. It's marginal what tyre's going to have the pace here, and I can't wait to find out. So here we go. Sneaky in control of the field. Data lurking in P2, just waiting for his moment to pounce. Average only, making a mistake under safety car. He's going to be looking to come through and gain ground on Data as quickly as he can. He holds a 3-point lead in the championship. Let's see what happens here. So Sneaky's away, and he's gained big ground. Data in second has lost out. Already the gap 1.5, and the intermediate tyres are flying. Average only has had a moment. He's facing the wrong way on the straight. I think he's got some damage. So the dry tyre's not working. Clunky Boy under attack from Alex. Alex tries to go around the outside. Is he going to have the grip at the exit? I think he will. Clunky Boy really struggling. Alex sails on by into the S's. The dry tyres have not worked. Sneaky has the lead, 2.5 seconds from the full guy. Max height up to P3. Nosebleed territory for him. Heggs is in P4. Aussie P5. What a restart. Drama for the championship leaders. Data's in P8. Average only. He is indeed in a world of pain right now, struggling to keep his car on the track. The dry tyres, not the right call.
Well, I tell you what, I think the leaders here, they've all neutralised each other, really. I mean, in my opinion, I would have gone for the mediums over the hards, so I think maybe
Oh, no. Sorry, Guardian, they are really struggling on this dry tyre. Clunky Boy's going around. You have to say, mate, Data doing a fantastic job just keeping his car on the track here.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm on board with Data, and he is doing a very, very good job. A little wide through Spoon, but he got out in the grease. But he has got phenomenal car control right now. But I think here, the idea, and that track is definitely getting drier, so these inter runners, they are going to have to come in. And I tell you what, I think Data, with his amazing car control right now, is doing a fantastic job. Has pulled a real masterstroke. He boggles a little bit at the chicane, but keeps the whole car on the whole of the track. And I don't think these intermediate guys are going to be able to gap it if it starts to get as dry as it looks like it's getting, because there is a dry line down the front straight.
Thank you, Guardian. And at Apex here, he was out of the race a few laps ago. I told you a safety car could bring him back into it, and it's done just that. He finds himself running P6 here, chasing down Hegs and Aussie. Fantastic for Max Height to be up there in P3. He's been a really good team player this season for Aston Martin, contributed greatly to them leading the constructors as it stands, but he's been bested by average only, I believe, in every race this season that average only has finished, bar one. And it's great to see him up there in P3 flying the flag for Aston Martin currently. Average only's into the pits at last to replace his front wing. Sneaky is coming through Spoon, so he won't get lapped, but he's going to find himself probably a good 3/4 to half a lap behind the field as it stands.
Yes, and I can tell you right now that average only, he has gone back to the intermediate tyre.
Here's one of the slowest battles I think we're ever going to see. It's Crush and Sushi Trash, both on medium tyres. Basically two turtles driving around the track at the moment, wobbling all over the place. It's almost like a pantomime. It's incredible to watch it.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely entertaining. And Apex doing the fastest lap at 38.9. And I tell you what, looking at these gaps now, Data is going to be the only dry runner that wins out of this, and everybody else is going to suffer quite a bit, because Data, having the amazing car control that he does have, getting really slow for the chicane once again, but he's got it on point. I tell you what, I think when these intermediate cars come through, that Data's probably going to find himself in about P4, P5.
Well, I'm going to disagree with that because he's 27 seconds behind the next car, so I can't see him gaining too much from it at the moment, but we'll wait and see. He might find some time yet, but I think he's only losing time, to be honest. So I think at the moment, once it all cycles out, I think Data's going to stay where he is. But we'll see what happens. Sneaky leads. He's built out a 4.5 second gap. Aussie in third. He's trying to chase the full guy for P2, but he's coming under great pressure. Oh, no. Oh, no. The full guy's put it in the barrier. Towards the exit of the hairpin in the right-hander. He's out of the race, so Aussie does get P2. Apex is currently back into the podium. That's P3. Data's now 30 seconds behind Hegs, so I think he's probably going to need to stop for the Inters. Clunky Boy's got 3-second penalty. Is this track going to dry up, Guardian? Because we're now on to lap 19. It doesn't really look any better than it was at the restart.
Oh, it doesn't, and I'm actually rather surprised by that. I thought it was gonna dry quite quickly once we got back to race speed, but apparently not. Apparently that standing water just not dissipating. And you know what? Maybe it's because only half the field are on the Inters, and you know these dry tyres, they just won't clear the water.
Yeah, it's interesting, fascinating Grand Prix, but I tell you what. These intermediate runners, the guys that stayed out under the safety car, have got it absolutely bang on, and it's yielding a great reward for Sneaky at the moment. He's in front, leading the Grand Prix. Nearly a 6-second gap back to the Ferrari of Aussie. He's got great command. He's got this race by the scruff of the neck, and it is his to lose with 8 laps remaining. Apex, massive credits to him for getting himself back into this Grand Prix, not giving up. And he finds himself battling here for P2 against Aussie. Here they come into the hairpin.
And you know what? Apex, he's almost cleared that 3-second margin that he needs to Max Height to retain P3 as well.
Thank you, Guardian. Thank you for that. So here we go through the sweeping right-hander. Just trying to size up a move here on the Ferrari. Into Spoon we go. Can he close in? Get a good exit. Potentially draw alongside down the straight. I think it's just a little bit too far back for now. Next opportunity is going to be under braking into the chicane. Just a little bit further than he was earlier in the lap away from the back of the Ferrari, but Aussie not having a great run there through 130R, and Apex really closed up substantially under brakes there. Very nice under the brake pedal. A little bit of a moment in the final corner. Captures it, power down, continues on. Aussie's defending now to the inside. This battle's getting very interesting. Comes back to the outside of the track. Apex stays behind into turn 1, but he gets the run into turn 2. The door was open. He fills the void. Side by side then into turn 3. Aussie backs out of it. Great move there from Apex. Absolutely bang on. Brilliant move. That's the best of the race so far. And Apex moves his Alpha Tauri into P2. Great move.
Yes, and he's cleared that penalty over max height now, so he is as things stand effective P3.
Oh dear, Apex has another 3 second.
And that one's gonna hurt.
Well, that's what's that, 6 seconds now for Apex, so that'll drop him probably down to P6 as it stands. So that one, yeah, that one will hurt. But Sneaky's in control of this race. Apex is gaining though, so he's making it interesting. Obviously carrying a rather large penalty. Aussie in max height, P3 and P4, but Alex finds himself into the top 5 now, and he's trying to have a run at max height. Through Spoon.
Yes, and just at the back end of the field, average only, he's come back into the pits, so more trouble with that Aston Martin, unfortunately.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, he's gone the soft tyre.
Oh, average only. He's taking a big gamble now. He took one earlier. He's going to double down. Gamble again now onto the soft tyre for the Aston Martin Championship leader. There's a good chance.
He's going to lose a lap.
Oh, he has. He has lost a lap. That is a horrible call then for average only. There is now a lap down. The only way he's going to get that lap back is if Sneaky pits on the green flag here for dry tyres himself.
Yes, well, just on board, and the track actually does look a lot drier now, so...
They're starting to see patches of water, so I think it's close, and looks like he's faring a lot better this time out. And Apex has pitted. He's got another 5-second penalty now. He's having an absolute nightmare. He's had a lot of pace today, but obviously he's just struggling keeping his cool and number of penalties now, but it looks like average only might be finding some pace with a soft tyre, and the track is starting to look dry at last on lap 22.
Yes, and most of the field now bar...
Oh, sorry, 2 seconds, Guardian. Sushi Trash there. Sorry, no. Crush and Clunky Boy just doing battle into the chicane there, and Clunky Boy forced off the track. Remains behind Crush. This battle will continue now into turn 1. Clunky Boy with a good run. We could be enabling DRS at any moment. These dry tyres are now starting to come back into the Grand Prix. Is it going to be enough time for them to run down those intermediate runners after it all shakes out? But I'm 100% sure now we are going to see the field on dry tyres towards the end of the Grand Prix. Clunky Boy working away here at the back of the Williams. Here is Crush driving a nice drive here in P9.
Yes, and race leader Sneaky has gone into the pits for dry tyres. Yeah, I believe it will be soft tyres. And so has Alex.
So Sushi, Trash, Crush, and Clunky Boy, you can throw a blanket over them here into the hairpin. All on the medium tyre. A 3-second penalty for Aussie now. A few penalties starting to rack up. We'll stay on board with Clunky Boy now because he's got a great run out of the hairpin. In the slipstream, going in a Spoon, but there we go. He's just got more downforce on the car than Crush, and Crush pulls away in a straight line. Sushi Trash looks like he's struggling a little bit here, so he could be under threat going into the next lap of the race, but let's see how it shakes out between these three. We'll jump on board with Crush. Gaining all the way here on Sushi Trash. Through 130R, he's trying to find some space to make a move under brakes into the chicane, but great defense there from Sushi Trash. He holds firm, keeps P8 for the time being. Down the main straight they go. Sneaky has the lead. He's 3.3 seconds clear of Apex. Crush has the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, a 36.9 on the mediums. And he goes to the inside here into turn 1, gets the move done. A textbook overtake there from the Williams man.
Yes, and just a little bit further ahead, Max Height is putting Alex under immense amounts of pressure right now as they get through the hairpin and on the run to Spoon.
Alex currently up in P4. It'll be a season best finish if he can maintain that. Max Height P5, also a season best finish for him. Average only though, he is definitely struggling, but he's unlapped himself. He's P12, 27 seconds behind the nearest car. I love controller. Clunky Boy in P10 goes very deep there. Almost turned into a pass around the outside of Sushi Trash, but didn't quite eventuate. Now we know he's got more downforce, so he's not great in a straight line, but that slipstream may help him on the run into Spoon. Let's see what he can do. Sits behind for now. He's got some pace, and it looks like he wants to use it, Clunky Boy. He's being frustrated here, held up behind the Alpine. And Data will inherit the lead of the championship as it stands in this race, but he's down in P7. So, drama for the top two. Here goes Clunky Boy. Into the chicane. He'll look to get a good run here. Do we have DRS yet?
I have not seen the DRS activation.
It's open. Nope, there it is. It is open. So here we go. Clunky Boy has got the DRS on Sushi Trash, and look at him. Gaining all the way down the straight, but he can't gain enough into turn one. Sushi Trash yet again holds on. That's going to be very hard to make a move through the S's. So once again, this is where Clunky Boy is very fast on the track, and he's going to be frustrated by that pesky Alpine. Gained substantially here through Dunlop as well as we go up the hill in towards Degner 1 and 2. Average only setting the track alight. There was a small mistake there from Sushi Trash, but gets away with it. Next chance for Clunky's going to be into the hairpin. Is he close enough here? I just don't think he is. He's not quite going to be close enough to that rear wing to send one down the inside under brakes, and Sushi Trash closes the door as he should, and Sneaky takes the fastest lap now. The lap time's starting to plummet. That's a 33.0. And there'll be 2 to go next time by for our leader.
Yes, and very surprisingly, I Love Controller has not switched off the intermediate tyres yet.
Doesn't seem to be working for him, unfortunately. But yeah, the field rather spread out at the moment, so Sneaky leads it from Apex, 2.2 seconds. Then there's penalties for both Apex and Aussie, unfortunately. So 11 seconds for Apex, 3 seconds for Aussie. It looks like at this rate, if it stays with the same gaps, the same intervals, Aussie will get P2. Alex would get himself onto the podium. And Data's got a 3-seconder as well, so it's going to be interesting to see where these drivers finish. Our average only's got to push flat out, just in case there's a mistake or something happens to try and keep himself in the race, but I tell you what, we don't dare call it early tonight, because we said last week with 2 or 3 laps to go that Ecamm had it in the bag, and then he was denied through running out of fuel. So I don't want to give it the commentator's curse, but it would be awfully hard for Sneaky to lose this one.
Yes, it would be. And as things stand with the penalty that Apex has, and it looks like Clunky Boy has finally managed to force Sushi Trash into the mistake that has given him the penalty, so they are now racing for position. But as I was saying, as things stand, with Apex's penalty, it will put him roughly about P4.
It's been a crazy day for Apex. He's could have been a lot more for him, but a few costly errors, a couple of bad moments. It's going to relegate him, but others have struggled as well. So it's been a difficult day in the office for our drivers tonight in Japan, unless your name is Sneaky and you've absolutely nailed it. Here he goes up through Dunlop. 1.5 laps to go as he approaches Degner 1 and 2. Looks like he's really in the groove at the moment, this young man. Plenty of talent, plenty of pace, and he's executed wonderfully tonight. Driver of the day, Guardian?
Driver of the day for me, it's got to be Sneaky. He's raced a phenomenal race. He's been in control almost the whole race. He's been
there's a McLaren. McLaren's around. It's Alex. I was fearing there that it was going to be Data, but Alex is, he's really struggled. And you know what? I was just about to call him my driver of the day as well, but unfortunately, Alex has thrown that away. He's got going again in P6. He's just got to keep his head calm here. Data has penalties, so if he can stay within 3 seconds... Oh, there's contact! Data straight into the back of his teammate. The McLarens have collided. Oh, dear. That could have implications, and Data's really struggling to get going here. Alex, oh no! Alex has lost it, spun into him. The McLarens are going to be going absolutely ballistic. There could be biffs in the garage tonight. That is crazy. Not sure how that's going to pan out in terms of post-race penalties, etc., but Data and Alex have come together there on multiple occasions. Alex is obviously driving pretty hot under the collar now. He's forced Sushi Trash off. Got to be careful not to come together with him. He's got no grip. Sushi Trash escapes Alex, thankfully. And continuing on is Data in P7, but I think there'll be some stewards weighing in on that one. And it's all about Sneaky. Sorry, Guardian. Just got to carry on here and call the race. So, Sneaky, he's going to come through here on the hairpin on the last lap. He's avoided the trouble. He's avoided the drama. He's nailed his strategy. He's got the right calls at the right times. He started P5. He went up and down a little bit, but he's come to the forefront of the field tonight. And he's going to come through. And in about 4 or 5 corners time, he's going to win his first race of the season, round 7. The Japanese Grand Prix for this young man. His helmet reminds me of Subway, eat fresh. He's going to eat fresh tonight. Sushi could be on the menu. A bit of teppanyaki even. He's got to go and treat himself because this boy has been phenomenal in Japan today. He's going to say, Domo arigato gozaimashita. Thank you for coming. P1 for Sneaky in Japan. What a drive. He is your winner today. Apex currently sits P2. Is he going to hang on to that? He won't. Aussie gets his season best finish of P2. Apex holds on for P3. It looks like Max Height is going to come home for P4. Indeed he does. Hegs, he gets his car to the end as well. He's done well. He gets P5. And there we have it. What a race. But a great day for Sneaky.
Yes, absolutely. He definitely snuck in for the victory there.
Yes, well done. We'll give you that one. Not bad. From P5, Data, he crosses the line in P6. And if he keeps that P6, he'll take over the lead of the championship. Because Average only finds himself in P12 tonight. So yeah, trouble at the front for those guys. Alex comes home P9, Sushi Trash P8, Crush P7. And I Love Controller's going to get P10. And not the best day in the office for Clunky Boy. He's battled on though, fought hard. He'll be P11. So there we have it then. A very fascinating Japanese Grand Prix. Filled with drama, filled with changeable weather. Another fantastic race tonight. Sum that one up for us, Guardian.
Yeah, that was definitely an interesting race. We went from full wet tyres for a couple of laps, and then the first of the gamblers came in for those intermediate tyres, and it definitely paid off. And then the safety car, what drama with about half the field going in for the dry tyre and half staying out, and I think we're going to see some movers and shakers in the standings. I'll tell you what. But yes, looks like Data will regather that lead of the championship after Average only has had a bit of a mare of a race, and he'll be looking to bounce back next round.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a shame for him, but I think even with maybe what can happen post-race, you never know what can happen with pens and bits and bobs there, but I think either way, yes, Alex will assume the lead of the championship once again, but yeah, it's certainly... Data, yes, thank you, Data, yep. My apologies, getting the McLarens mixed up tonight. But yeah, it's a seesawing affair at the top, so I guess it keeps everyone coming back to see what's going to happen in the next week. We certainly love it. But today belongs to Sneaky, and here he is on top of the podium, lifting the trophy here in front of the Japanese crowd that go absolutely bananas for Formula 1, as we know. But a great race for him, accompanied on the podium by Aussie and Apex, I believe it is it, in P3?
Yes, it was Apex in P3. Max High just couldn't get that gap down far enough to capitalise on Apex's penalty. But yeah, going to be very interesting post race for the stewards. They're going to have a long night, but yeah, we'll leave that to them, and we'll see coming into next round who's where in the championship.
Indeed, yeah, and a great race for Apex. He should hold his head up high tonight. Like I said, he had some moments that weren't so good, but at the end of the day, he's battled on and he's got himself a podium. So fantastic result from him. And yeah, good determination, a bit of grit, a bit of character to do that. So impressed by Apex. I'm gonna give him my driver of the day for that, just for the perseverance and holding his head high and coming back through the field the way he did. It was a sensational thing. So well done to him. Well done to Sneaky, who's the winner today. And everyone else that took part in that one. It was a fantastic Grand Prix. Very entertaining. I hope you guys in the chat did enjoy it as much as we did. If you did enjoy it, please follow the channel. Come back and we'll see what happens next week out. It's going to be a sprint weekend in Great Britain. So it'll be the second sprint race of the season. And yeah, can't wait to see what happens in the championship battle at the top, because it's feisty and it's close. So yeah, really looking forward to it. Don't think
Yes, all to play for in the championship for sure, even at this stage.
Indeed. I don't think we've got any drivers to harass tonight.
We've got cards up in the commentary box at the moment.
Cards, good evening, sir.
Hello, how is everyone?
Good, mate. Talk us through your race, mate. It was a bit brief tonight, unfortunately, but yeah, pretty hard to drive out there in those conditions, mate. Talk us through what you were feeling.
Yeah, it was. Well, I got a good start, jumped up to I don't know, I forgot. P15 or something, starting in P18. And drove an okay race. Just came out of the hairpin and then put the accelerator on too hard and plumbed into the wall.
It looked like you struggled a little bit out there. It's tough in those conditions, mate. There was certainly plenty of other drivers that found it a tricky day as well. But well done, mate, for participating, and hopefully you can get the result you're after next time out.
And also, I'm a new wheel player, so that makes it more difficult.
You'll get the hang of it, mate. Practice makes perfect, as they say. But yeah, just time in the seat, keep your head up, keep fighting out there, mate, and just keep trying to go one better each week.
Yep, thanks.
No worries, mate. Aussie. Is he there? Aussie.
Hello.
Hello, mate.
Oi, oi, oi.
What a race, mate. I tell you what, changeable conditions. It was wet, it was dry, it was in between, but you've come through. Season best performance, P2, mate. What's it like to be up on the podium?
It feels amazing, especially in these conditions. I definitely struggled around a time when it was getting greasy out there with the intermediates, which I knew would happen. I'm good in the wet, I'm good in the dry, but the intermediates are just very icky conditions. I did go off track 2 times, I think, and lost a few places. But definitely not jumping the gun for the dries and going on I managed to go on them at the right time. Pitting for the inters during that virtual safety car too really helped me as well. So yeah, it was a good race, definitely my best so far, and I loved every bit of it. Nice,
mate. Yeah, well, Guardian and I up here in the commentary box, we kind of split opinions on what to do under the safety car there, but you nailed it by staying out. Big points in terms of your championship as well, because you're probably going to get yourself above Talaxian. And with the other results that we've seen today, you're going to be a little bit closer to the lead of the championship. So, a great result for you. What are you hoping to achieve for the rest of the season?
Look,
can you win it?
I wouldn't go that far. Maybe for those that don't know, I did finish second in a championship after a hard-fought battle with MJ last season. So, I definitely wouldn't put it out of the books, but average only, and apart from this race, seemed to be dominating, I think.
Yeah, he was leading by 3 points coming into this one. He's certainly been the most consistent. He's had 5 P2s, and the only times he didn't score were both in Miami, where he was 18th and a DNF.
Yeah, but Data is also only 3 points behind as the results stand from Singapore. So it's definitely close up there. I still got a long way to go, and I'm gonna have to stay consistent up the top if I want to get up there and join them.
Yeah, I think you can do it, mate. You've been 4th on a couple of occasions, so you finally broke the duck, got the podium tonight. And as Gutty and I have been saying, you just never know which way this championship race is going to turn, and it's been quite immense. And if we can get a couple more people fighting at the top, then it makes it all the more fun.
Well, look, it's Race Spec, so never say never to anything around here. It's definitely unpredictable.
Indeed. Anything from you, Guardian? Anything you'd like to ask our 2 fantastic drivers about tonight?
I think Cards covered pretty much everything in his brief stint in the race. Very unfortunate for him to DNF, and Aussie, he's definitely persevered through all that. But I mean, I just got to ask Aussie, how hard was it to make the call whether to stay out or to come in under that safety car? Because honestly, I thought that the water was gonna clear under the safety car there.
Look, honestly, the way the track was drying up, I definitely had an inkling that it wasn't going to dry before the safety car came out. granted, after I saw a clunky pit ahead of me for the mediums instead of the inters, about 2 laps on the safety car later, I did have that regret at thinking, oh no, it's going to dry up. But the second the safety car went away, I was like, oh yeah, it's way too early. And the fact that it lasted another 3-4 laps until it was actually time for the softs, or I think it was more than that actually. Yeah, the game actually decided to be realistic for once and dry up slow. So definitely the right choice. I'm glad I didn't jump the gun like some of them did. But it worked out in the end, so that I can just be happy with that and walk away with it.
Yes, absolutely, and definitely a massive points gain for you today. So you'll probably move up that leaderboard a couple of positions, and yeah, great racing tonight, mate.
Yeah, cheers. I'm about to do the standings now, so I guess we'll find out.
Nice.
Yes, we will.
Well, thank you, lads. Thanks for joining us for the after race chat. Thank you, Guardian, for joining me in the commentary box. Another fantastic round of a Race Spec Pacific Series in Suzuka. Join us next week. We're going to head to Great Britain. Strawberries and cream, and it's a sprint round, so it's going to be very, very exciting. So we'll see you all then. Everyone have a fantastic week, and yeah, we'll catch up with you on the next one.
And speaking of the devil, Data's here now.
So, sorry, Data, we're out of time, mate. But stick around, and we'll have a chat, no doubt. But yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one. Alrighty. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it tonight. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you check out Race Spec on social media. And we'll be back. I'll be back on Sunday for the Elite Series. But don't forget the Endurance Series and the Americas divisions that'll be next to come this week. But until then, everyone stay safe, take care, get in there, and see you next time.